Let's face it, even if you think that you've trained your ChatGPT to talk like you're probably inadvertently recycling the same AI slop everyone else in your niche is dishing out, and it's starting to make you sound like everyone else. It's just a matter of time before the audience picks up on it if they haven't already. I'm not just talking about those annoying M dashes. I've spent 20 years telling stories on video, and I can hear these patterns and phrases instantly. So in this video, I'm going to go through 10 culprits that you may not even realize you're using that make your content sound like everyone else's. And in the long term, it's going to hurt your brand if you don't change this right now. I'm not just going to crap all over ChatGPT. I am going to show you what to say instead so you sound like a breath of fresh air on the internet. And don't worry, you don't need to write anything down because I've put all of this into a guide that I'm going to link below. You can download it for free, and it even comes with a video to train your ChatGPT to not talk like ChatGPT. Okay, let's get into it now. Look, let's just get something out of the way right now. I am not anti-AI and I'm not anti-ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT every single day, multiple times a day for all kinds of uses in my business, including content creation. But I'm noticing a huge problem, and I have to warn you about it because I care about your content and I don't want you to sound like everyone else. If you're letting ChatGPT slip these 10 sneaky phrases and patterns into your content, even if you edit them, your audience is going to feel it immediately. They might not be able to put their finger on it, but something feels off. And the second someone feels like you're reading something or that you've memorized something AI generated, they're out to your competitors' videos. All right, let's start with the worst offender, and you may not even know this one. I call it the binary flip. It's not about X, it's about Y. AI uses this constantly, and it's often disguised, so you may not even realize it's in your copy. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. It sounds dramatic, but it's predictable, and it oversimplifies everything. And almost every ChatGPT output I get incorporates this in some way. Go scroll social media for like 10 seconds, and you'll see it everywhere. It's overused and it's lazy. All right, but that maybe is how some people talk. So here's something you can do instead. Don't say it's not about posting more videos, it's about posting better ones. Just say what you want to say. Post more videos, make them stronger. Do you see the difference? Clear, direct, human. You're not beating around the bush and you're not like assuming that the person thinks it's about this other thing when in fact it's about this thing. A lot of AI is really condescending if you think about it. And this leads me to the next one, which you probably don't realize you're using. I call this the fake guru. This is the one almost nobody catches. This is what nobody's talking about. This is what most people miss. These big declarative statements make it sound like you have access to some secret library of knowledge that nobody else in the world has ever come across, which is just not believable. It actually makes you sound pretty inexperienced, like you haven't talked to enough real people to know that actually a lot of people already know that, or a lot of people already did tell me that. It just completely papers over nuance. So stop saying that. Instead, look to anchor it in actual reality. Anchor it in your experience, which makes you more authentic. Here's what I find with my clients. Here's what I'm experiencing. I see this come up constantly with my patients. It feels more grounded. It feels more believable. It feels less like contrived, like you're trying to make some blanket statement to sound like an expert. It actually makes you sound like you are an expert because you're giving real life examples. And AI can't make those up for you. If it does, you really shouldn't be using them. So you're shifting from here's this thing no one else knows, which how do you know that, to I have this experience, this is what I know, and now I'm sharing it with you. You don't have to be the only one who knows it. You just have to be the one that people want to hear it from. And right beside that one is another pattern that I've come to absolutely hate. I call this one the miracle claim. This changes everything. This is the missing piece. This is the only thing you need. AI loves this kind of language. Big, sweeping certainty. Like one idea just solved your entire life. But humans don't talk like that. And our problems aren't so simple that you can just wrap them up in a bow or learn one thing and suddenly everything's better. We're more nuanced and complicated. There's a lot of stuff we can't just solve and conclude. We leave things open-ended. We're messy. We're emotional. And when you say these kinds of things out loud in your content, it sounds really dramatic, but it also sounds really inflated and sometimes not very believable, which is probably why people are raising so many objections to working with you. It's the content version of a movie trailer. This one secret will change everything. Everything? Like, really? Everything? The bigger the claim, the less believable it feels. And people may not actually call it out overtly, but inside, they're kind of recoiling, they're pulling back. A lot of YouTube videos start this way, and it really annoys me because they never deliver on that. So instead of this changes everything, try something like this made this part way easier. This is where things started to click for me or for my clients. The change you're making here is going from miracle claims to specific impact driven by storytelling and actual life experience. You probably don't even need AI to write this for you. You can just tell it like it happened or like you know it, because you do know it, and you don't need ChatGPT to tell you that. I just want to be clear. I am not trying to shame you or lecture you with any of these. I have used every single one of these at some point in my content and probably still do from time to time without even realizing. But I hope that by calling attention to these, we're all going to stop relying on them so much and we'll start to recognize them in our ChatGPT outputs so that we can grab them, latch onto them, pull them out, and replace them with something real and human. Okay, let's move on. Speaking of epic statements, this next one is literally so bad. I had to specifically train ChatGPT to never say it to me again. It was so offensive. I call this AI therapy language. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're not behind. These lines are everywhere in AI generated content. If it's not about you, it's about the thing. The system's not broken. Your schedule's not broken. Your business isn't broken. Who said I was broken? Honestly, it's kind of maddening and patronizing. I never said I was failing. Wait, am I failing? Should I be worried about failing? Does he think I'm failing? You're not behind. Behind compared to who? It's like when you meet up with someone and they say, "Hey, you look tired today." Thanks. Or, "Oh, you seem a little bit off." What? Who asked you? I felt fine 5 seconds ago. Now I'm self conscious for no reason. This is AI trying to manufacture human empathy, and it just doesn't translate. It's downright rude. And when everyone uses the same language, it loses that emotional punch that's supposed to grab you. Sure, if someone's reading that for the first time, which almost nobody these days is, then maybe it'll be something that they feel seen and relate to. But so many people are using this, and I'm seeing it in almost every email I get. So I'm tuning it out. And unfortunately, I'm missing out on a lot of really great information that people are emailing me because they're putting this kind of spin on it, which sounds so contrived and AI generated. So rather than that direct trying to diagnose your viewer or reader with something they didn't ask for, talk about a specific situation they would recognize themselves in. Rather than "you're not broken," this part is harder than a lot of people expect. This is where a lot of my clients get frustrated. Instead of "you're not failing," try something like "it can feel really clunky at first, but once you get the hang of it," language like that. Instead of "you're not behind," you can say things like "you're right on time for this stage of whatever it is they're going through." Do you see the difference? You're describing a shared reality, not assigning them some kind of problem or diagnosis. You have no idea what's going on in their heads, even if AI told you what your audience pain points are. And while we're on the subject of the whole AI self help thing, this next one is also annoying. I call it the fortune cookie buffet. This AI phrasing follows a very simple formula: X over Y. A over B. Think clarity over chaos, progress over perfection, quality over quantity. These got really popular because they sound smart, but now they just feel templated. Nobody really talks like that in real life. Instead of slogans, speak in actual language that you would use with someone over coffee. So instead of saying something like "focus on clarity over chaos," say something like "make your message simpler, just cut the extra words." One tells, the other actually helps and tells the person what to do. Right next to the fortune cookie buffet, you'll get a taste of the triple sampler. More this, more that, more the other thing. Know this, know that, know this other thing. Or my personal pet peeve: not because X, not because Y, but because fill in the blank here. It's predictable, it's formulaic, and it is telltale ChatGPT, right along with those listicles with emojis instead of bullet points. So instead of these cheesy lists, again, anchor it in a story or a common experience that your viewer can relate to. Let's say you're a baby sleep coach. Instead of saying more sleep, more calm, more ease, you can say something like get your baby to sleep through the night without having them cry it out for hours. And you insert examples of experiences that parents actually go through when they're trying to get their kids to sleep. Same idea, but now we can actually picture it. We can actually see it. We can have that feeling of like, oh yeah, I've been there. I call these next ones the usual suspects. These are the OGs of ChatGPT slop, and I just had to include them, the ones we started making fun of back in 2024. But they're still creeping into content. I'm talking about anything you have to unlock, unleash, discover, leverage, elevate, harness, or delve deeper into. Seriously, no human talks like that in real life. But what it actually sounds like is a motivational poster from 2015. These phrases also serve to waste precious seconds that your audience is using to decide whether to listen to you. So by the time you're done saying, in today's complex digital landscape, they're gone. Instead of saying something like, in today's competitive corporate market, it's important to stand out, just say, you're getting ignored. Let's fix that. Instead of, let's delve deeper into these 5 strategies, just say, here are the 5 strategies. That's it. Just say what the thing actually does. Which brings us to another classic ChatGPT cliche, what I like to call the epic adjectives. You've seen it. Groups of 3. Clear, confident, compelling. Bold, magnetic, unforgettable. Simple, powerful, effective. And honestly, I get it. Groups of 3 are very memorable. Rock, paper, scissors, snap, crackle, pop, lights, camera, action. Our brains love patterns like that. They stick. But here's the problem. When you start to use this phrasing a lot in your content, it sounds very predictable and formulaic. The other thing is that those triple threats often turn into these long, breathless sentences that aren't actually how people talk. The kind where you're halfway through the sentence and all of a sudden you need to stop and breathe and get some air, which is not a natural way of speaking. If you can't get through a sentence without pausing in an awkward place, your audience starts to feel that tension. They don't know why it feels off, it just does. This is not to say you can't use these 3 word combinations, just use them sparingly so it doesn't sound so formulaic every time. And that way, each word can actually stand on its own and land its punch. Here's a quick one I have to call out because I did mention it at the beginning. This is the M dash. It comes out more in written posts. Hopefully, you've trained ChatGPT to not use these at all. But even when they creep into your scripts, they make you talk weird. The dramatic pause in the middle of every sentence. I'm sorry to say, but I used to love M dashes, and now ChatGPT has completely ruined them for me. When every line sounds like it's either building suspense or leading to a without this or that phrase, it just loses its effectiveness. And if every sentence has a dramatic pause, then everything starts to feel scripted and fake. So just don't use them. Done. There is no way I caught all the ChatGPT cliches and phrases in this video, so I'm just dying to know in the comments. What are some other ChatGPT things that drive you bonkers? Patterns that you notice, language or words, or just repeatable things that we should all banish from our scripts. Let's brainstorm, crowdsource, and I will update my document with the best ones. Speaking of which, if you want a list not just of the ones I talked about in this video, but also all of the ChatGPT patterns that I really think you need to banish, plus a video tutorial about how to use them, how to customize your ChatGPT content and feed this document to your ChatGPT so it never uses these again. Spoiler alert, it probably will, but you just have to keep reminding it. Definitely click the link below. I think you'll love it. Download it, keep it beside you when you script, and keep adding to it as you discover more of these nauseating AI terms that are just killing our creativity. Look, if you took just 1 or 2 things from this video that are going to make your videos that much better, are going to make your posts that much less predictable, then I have done my job. Because this is such an issue in content right now, and I only see it getting worse. The more we can push back against this lazy writing, the better we will all be. One surprising thing that I've noticed is that as I've used ChatGPT, I've started to write sometimes in some of these ways, even subconsciously when I'm writing my own stuff. So that's another thing I want you to be conscious of, just not adopting these ways of writing because You hopefully learned writing before all of this came along, and you can express yourself in a way that no one else can. So continue to be you. That's what makes you unique. And that's what's going to make people want to consume your content, join your audience, and ultimately buy your stuff. If you want to know how to use ChatGPT to actually script your videos so you don't sound like a robot, check out this video next.